What's the latest here between Minshew and Hurts splitting reps here now? So yeah, I guess Sirianni came out and said it's still the ankle and he's not 100%. Okay,
totally
so this like ANKLEGATE. So I guess John McMullen's ready here.
Oh, here he comes. There he is. Look at that. He's got his own like logo, label. He's sponsored by Ocean. Look at this guy. How great is this? Wow.
I like it, John. John, so we have ANKLEGATE now in Philly, man. So what's the latest here between Minshew and Hurts splitting reps here now? So yeah, I guess Sirianni came out and said it's still the ankle and he's not 100%.
Yeah, I think, it was a little bit of a surprise, the uncertainty and the fact that we were led to believe that Jalen would be back in place after the bye week. Now, it's a high ankle sprain. So as you know, Dan, that could be up to a 4-week injury as an NFL injury. So it could be gamesmanship, but the fact that they're going to split reps again indicates to me there is legitimate uncertainty if he's going to be ready. And remember, part of it is the type of quarterback Jalen Hurts is, because if you take away his ability to run the football, you take away a lot of the strengths of his skill set. So, they're trying to make a playoff push. All of this enters into the equation, but the ankle injury is a little bit more serious than was let on at the onset of this entire thing.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, gamesmanship it's an interesting dynamic because the Jets said they weren't preparing at all for Gardner Minshew when he injured this ankle the week before, which I think tells you a lot about why the Jets are where the Jets are. I mean, how could you not have thought to prepare for Minshew? What do you think the difference is now with Washington's preparation, given how limited they are due to COVID, now having to try to prepare for two different quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think in Washington's case, I think, Ron Rivera can't even get to the point. He's got to figure out how he's going to get a defensive line on the field to play any type of quarterback. So, Robert Saleh was pretty honest after the Jets game, and he said, look, we knew the differences between the two quarterbacks in the fact that you have a guy who's going to be more RPO driven, running the football versus a quick read quarterback in Gardner Minshew. So they kind of knew. But he did say that, look, you always prepare for the starter like he's going to be ready. And that's what the Jets did. And maybe it worked from that gamesmanship aspect of Nick Sirianni. But more before the bye, guys, I think Jalen Hurts, was really pushing to play. He wanted to play. Mm-hmm. He was the one who talked to us on Wednesday like he normally does and says, I'm playing.
Right.
And I just think reality came into it and a high ankle sprain, and it's really difficult to get back on the field in 1 week from that.
John, though, if he's an established guy and the front office is looking at that guy, it's the playoff. This is a playoff game this weekend. The loser most likely is going to be out of the NFC playoff race, okay? Washington's in the 7 hole, and the Eagles are in the 9 hole right now, both teams with the same record. Man, you play your guy that gives you the best ability to win. You're not splitting reps on high ankle. I mean, everybody's hurt right now. Aaron Rodgers has got a bad foot. Yeah. Brady's a little bit banged up with his back. I mean, everyone's a little nicked up. Kyler Murray's banged up. Is this where, I guess where I'm going with this is this just the dynamic in the front office where, hey, they're looking at which guy gives them the best chance to win? And like you said, John, if Jalen doesn't have his wheels, he doesn't give us the best chance to win, because look at what Dallas Goedert was able to do when they had Gardner Minshew in there. Look at how the offense looked. Look at the way they threw the ball down the field. And maybe they feel they need a passing game to win these next 4 ball games. I mean, is that fair? Like, how they're evaluating these next couple games here?
Yeah, I mean, I get how people would think that way. I can tell you 100% that's not the way Nick Sirianni is thinking. I think if Jalen Hurts was healthy, he'd be getting all the reps. He'd be preparing to play. And Nick believes that Jalen Hurts gives him the best opportunity to win a football game. But you have to be realistic and say, certainly the passing game looked more effective against the Jets. Now, a lot of people say that's the Jets and all that kind of stuff for Gardner Minshew, but he was quicker processing. He was quicker getting the football out of his hands. And, ultimately, I think that you've had this entire season in Philadelphia. And I think too many people have focused, and I wrote about this in Philly Mag today. Too many people are focused on 1 year. You got to evaluate on 1 year and realize, okay, are we going to move forward with Jalen Hurts? Or are we not going to move forward on Jalen Hurts? The Eagles are going to try to get better at quarterback. They're going to try to be better than Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew. If they can do it, and that means Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, you guys know all the names. If they evaluate Kenny Pickett as a franchise quarterback or Matt Corral or anybody else, if they think they can get better, they'll get better. If they don't, a bridge can be longer than a year. You can use a bridge quarterback for 2 years. If they can't get better than Jalen Hurts, they'll use Jalen Hurts again. But to me, these final 4 games, but the expectations have changed. Now they want to get into the playoffs because of how things are set up. And as you guys mentioned, look, whoever loses this game, it's not a must-win game literally.
It's close.
But you look at all the predictive sites, it goes from plus 50% to 11% if the Eagles lose. So they're going to try to win the football game. And if Jalen Hurts is not healthy enough to play, then they're going to go to Gardner Minshew. But it doesn't mean anything for next year.
Hey, John, if I can't even think about next year, I just want to think about next week. If Gardner Minshew does play against Washington and has another really good performance and they win the game, then will we have a quarterback controversy?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was a little bit surprised and a little bit pleasantly surprised by Eagles fans not erupting into a major controversy after the Jets game, because let's be honest, that's the best Eagles performance statistically by a quarterback since Nick Foles in the NFC Championship game. So, I mean, Gardner was darn good. In the first half, he was perfect. 158.3. That was his passer rating in the first half, and he can't go any higher, obviously, in the NFL. I think a lot of it had to do with the Jets. Everybody kept saying, it's just the Jets. It's just the Jets. But the passing offense was better. There's no question about it. And they give up something in the running game, but they were still able to ultimately rush for over 180 yards. So I get the questions. If he continues to play well, if he's forced in, yeah, I think it'll incrementally go up. But you know where I think it would really explode is if Jalen Hurts starts and plays poorly in the first half, but the Eagles are still in the game. Then you got to ask your question, do you make the change in game? And that would really, really ignite the quarterback controversy.
John, do you look at these next 4 games? We kind of broached this in the first hour a little bit. So Howie, the owner, Nick, the coaching staff, these next 4 games, the top priority, is it to get the decision on what the quarterback future is, or is it the priority to be a playoff football team? What do you think they're looking at right now as the number one question they want answered in these next 4 games?
No, they want to make the playoffs now. They want to make the playoffs. They've already made their decision at quarterback, and it is what I said. They'll try to get better at quarterback. Okay. They'll try to get better at quarterback in the offseason. If Deshaun Watson revisits and clears up his legal issues and says, I'll entertain playing in Philadelphia, guess what, guys? They were already trying to get him. They were trying to get him to change his mind this year.
True.
It's not going to stop. Russell Wilson has been the white whale of this organization since they weren't able to get him in the draft. If he changes his mind, and entertains the thought of playing in Philadelphia and Seattle decides to trade him, they will try to get Russell Wilson. Again, with the young quarterbacks, it comes down to evaluation. That nobody knows except Andy Weidel and the scouting staff and how they look at Kenny Pickett and players like that. They've already made their decision at quarterback. They'll try to get better if they can. If not, they'll continue to move on with Jalen Hurts until they can get better. Now they want to make the playoffs, and you have this logjam of 5 teams at 6 and 7. But if you look at schedules, the Eagles have already beaten, remember, 2 of those teams, Atlanta and New Orleans, so they have the tiebreaker. They can take care of Washington. Minnesota's the other team, but they have the Rams and the Packers on their schedule.
Yeah, they got a tougher schedule.
Yeah. So it's all there for the Eagles. And this week, they're on a team. Washington's got 11 people on the COVID list.
Oh, they got more now. Kyle Allen was just added to the COVID
I
list.
guarantee you, John, by Friday, that thing will be down to around 3 people. I guarantee you the NFL, Park Avenue, and the Players Association, I guarantee you they wobble the protocols for this because you're hearing John Mayer, like Harry said, hey, we're going to have to learn to live with this. There's no question. I guarantee you, you're not going to see the amount of names on these lists. I have no insight. I'm just making a prediction. There's no way that they're going to have an emergency meeting here, and I know they're talking about it now.
Yep.
Because you potentially have forfeits this weekend.
Cleveland too is decimated.
Yeah, I was texting with 2 players who are on the COVID list yesterday and are vaccinated and tested positive, and they're very upset because they're asymptomatic. And the question is, the question I got from one of them was, why are we being tested when we're healthy? And you're essentially looking for problems.
Right.
Isn't what that was the vaccination? What was that for?
Right.
It was for us. So there's a lot of frustration coming from the players. I don't think, I think when it comes to vaccinated versus unvaccinated, I don't think anyone's complaining about the unvaccinated guys. But when the vaccinated players test positive and they're asymptomatic and they feel fine, and Dan, how many guys have played through flus and injuries in the past, and they're like, I'm 100%, I can go, and they're not allowed to play. They're going to start pushing the union, which has been in lockstep with the NFL to this point, and they're going to try to get some things changed. But this late in the season, there's just a lot of uncertainty. Let's put it.
And how about this too, John? Home field advantage. I was talking to Harry about this. Can you imagine? Okay, so all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Matthew Stafford, they come down and 2 of these guys can't go, and there's a home field advantage on the line here, and you're sitting a guy because, like you said, he's completely vaccinated. He's got to go through the protocols. He's just tested positive. Again, like Harry said, can you imagine? I mean, you're going to sit a guy who did all the things that you told him to do. You're going to lose home field advantage. That's millions of dollars also to the owner that's at home. I got to tell you, man, this is destined to be a big issue here going down towards the stretch of the week here on Friday. I think we're going to see some stuff.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a tweaking of the protocols. Yeah. I agree with you. But I think we lost John there at the very end. Oh, there he's back. Did you hear Dan, John?
No, I didn't hear that last question. I got knocked off from the wonderful Wi-Fi here, but now I'm on the.
I'm just saying. Can you imagine, John, if you had if you had home field advantage on the line and say Stafford and Brady, they test positive and home field advantage is on the line in the NFC playoffs, and you're sitting a guy and both these guys are vaccinated with boosters, and you're going to sit these guys because of protocol. I think you're going to have owners like Stan Kroenke, and you're going to have the Glazers and everybody a little bit pissed off about that because that's also home revenue. Remember, they didn't play in front of fans last year. These owners want to make up as much money as they possibly can with home advertising, attendance, all of that stuff, man. That's why I think it's going to be wobbled.
Yeah, and think about if it's against Aaron Rodgers, who obviously tested positive and is not vaccinated, and the controversy that caused, and now he doesn't have to get tested because he tested positive, and you have this weird loophole window, and guys who have been vaccinated, yeah, that would be the worst case scenario for the NFL. Hey, look, I mean, to me, it seems, and as somebody who's got to go through it and get tested every week, and I got tested again today. It seems more public relations driven than common sense driven, and they want to signal to people that they're doing the right thing. We know certain teams have not adhered to protocols as strictly as others. It's a giant mess, but it's a mess of the NFL's own creation and the Players Association. Remember, because they agreed to all this as well. And they should have been probably fighting for more of the players part of it. And then, guys, think about the coaches and the employees. They don't have a union. So the NFL came down yesterday and said, oh, by the way, you got to get a booster for Tier 1 and Tier 2 people by, I think, December 27th.
Yes.
They got to have it done, period, end of sentence, or you can't be around the players. And obviously, if you're a coach, you have to be around the players. So giant mess of their own creation. Not a very proactive organization, the NFL as a whole. We've known this for years, very reactive, and they don't react in the right way a lot of times in a lot of situations.
Well, John, I got tested once, and they stuck that thing way up my nose and made me cry. Does it still make you cry every time since you get tested?
Well, that's another thing. It depends who you get on the tester. Yeah, sometimes you get the brain tickler. Sometimes you get.
Oh, so you got the Chris Cuomo. You got the Chris Cuomo nose swabby. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I can't even tell you how many COVID tests I've had to date. It's well into the hundreds. Because I had to get tested every single day last year. Every single day. Yeah, it's not fun, and it's certainly an inconvenience. But you know, you have to do it for your job, so you do it. And it's interesting because the players do have a union fighting for them, and they can be unvaccinated. That does not hold true for everybody around the team. They don't have any choice. They either do it or they don't do it. And if they don't do it, they can't do their jobs.
Right. But to your knowledge, there isn't any further positive tests for the Eagles.
No. And everybody looks at 4:00. It's when the transaction wire. We just talked to Nick Sirianni a little while ago. So I don't believe there will be any positives for the Eagles today. And that's, you know, this entire league waits for the transaction wire to come out at 4:00 to see how many players are going to be on the COVID-19 list. And the Eagles are playing, other than Cleveland, which I think has 14 now. Kevin Stefanski himself tested positive
Baker too.
Again.
Yeah.
And other than Cleveland, Washington has the most right now on the COVID list.
Yeah, and according to Mike Garafolo, it says Kyle Allen is placed on the COVID list. And Kyle Shermer is on the practice squad, and they just signed Jordan Teamu to the practice squad.
The for XFL fans, the
St. Louis Battlehawks.
Battlehawks former star.
Right. Played at Ole Miss, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, John. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
There he is.
Hey, what's this, Harry? I'm sorry. I mean, the vaccination talk, it's like, you know, I mean, dude, I'm
I'm so over it.
Sick of this, man.
I know.
Hey, watch this, though, Harry. You're right. You're right, because it's part of the game now. Okay?
But
however,
I know.
Mud on, man. I mean, really?
You pull up ESPN.com and you look on the right where the headlines are. Half of them are COVID protocol related. It's just nauseating.
How do you think it does? Do you think the NFL they correct this week, correct?
I think they're going to do something. I'm in agreement with you. That Rappaport tweet. I mean, he's works for the league, so if he's putting that out there, the owners have had. If you think you're sick of this, they are done with it.
So wait.